Good evening, Warhammer YouTubers. I wanted to make a quick video. Well, it's actually probably not going to be that quick about what I want to do in 2016. It's kind of like a resolution, except not binding whatsoever. Not that resolutions are, but it's just kind of a rough plan of what I really want to accomplish. And I've been active since about July. I've been in the hobby a long, long time, but didn't get a lot of painting done. Really next to nothing for going on almost 2 decades. So I have a lot of unpainted models, and that's been my focus. And I think I did a pretty good job in 2015. Got a fully finished army finished that I got in 2014, the Slanesh Demons. And I really want to continue on with that trend and really paint quite a bit. And the support that you receive as a content producer and from people watching you and commenting has been fantastic. And the community as a whole is really the greatest motivation, because you watch videos constantly, and it just, every time I'm painting, I'm watching videos, and it just kind of reaffirms what you're doing, which is great. So although I painted quite a bit in 2015, I probably still bought more models than I painted, which is kind of a problem. It's really always been one of my problems. Although, like I said, I have made some pretty good gains over the last 6 months, so not so bad. So in 2016, I really want to be even more productive. I think that's possible because I only really was painting actively for about half a year in 2015. Excuse me. And I really want to work on a lot of the models I already own, but I also know I'm going to be buying models. It's just kind of something that I love to do. I love to increase my collection. I have a ton of unpainted, or really even models that aren't even assembled, as most people do. But this year I really want to try to make an effort to, if I do buy something, put it together and get it painted. So I want to be, when it comes to gaming, I want to play a little bit more consistently than I have in the past. I want to branch back into 40K. It's been several years since I played 40K. I still have all my armies. I still love 40K. I still love the look and lore of 40K. Even though I haven't played. And I still watch games of 40K on people's battle reports and YouTube channels. So if that's possible, that's something I want to do in 2016. I'm also, I love Age of Sigmar. The games I have played, I absolutely think have been really fun. And so if there's a way to push for Age of Sigmar in my local area as well, that's something I really want to do in 2016. I don't want to get too deeply into my personal non-hobby related goals, of course, but I do. Most people put weight loss on their New Year's resolution. That certainly is something for me. I could certainly lose a bit of weight, and I only mention that because I only mention that because Doom and Darkness is doing an initiative. He's a great content producer. Some really good stuff in his channel. He covers 9th and Age of Sigmar. And so he's doing a diet of Sigmar initiative, and you can find that on Facebook. And so, he and I are going to kind of join up and kind of support each other, and we'll see what happens. So it's basically, it's a collective group of gamers that are just, we're all in the same boat. And so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, back to the channel. So in terms of the channel, I want to mostly stay the course. I want to do more of the standard content that I have been doing. I've been enjoying it. There's kind of a level of kind of egoism, I think, with making videos to some extent. But people seem to like it. But, in all fairness, it's great motivation. And I want to come up with a few more unique series, so I have a few videos planned. Don't worry, the video on the word demon will be coming out very soon. I know some people are really anticipating that one. And so more classically inspired videos, But I wouldn't mind doing maybe some Tactica videos. Um, I'll look at different book reviews, and really anything in my collection I might kind of highlight as well. Um, but if there's anything that you would like to see me do, or have a question or something like that, please feel free to post it, and I will certainly consider it. So, what are my hobby plans for 2016? I have a lot of armies and models to choose from. And when I initially started my planning for the new year, I wrote down several armies, and I was like, okay, I want to do Night Goblins, or Night Goblins, Warriors of Chaos, Stormcast Eternals, two 40k armies, and it's just like, this is ridiculous. Um, it's just there's so much I want to do, and I don't know how to prioritize, because I really do like almost everything. I don't really have much in terms of favorites, so I've developed a different way. And whenever we play a game, me and my wife, we roll on a series of charts. We randomize what armies we play. I have a lot of selections, so it's just a way to kind of surprise each other rather than picking the same old ones or something that we're familiar with to kind of do it. And that's how I'm going to determine my hobby priorities. So it's kind of a weird way. I sat down, I changed the charts around a little bit. So it's basically a system where you roll and you determine what game. It would be partly Age of Sigmar, partly 40k. Eventually, I might add in 40k, and specialist games and things like that are on there as well. And then you roll for the faction, and then you roll for if you roll for elves, then you roll for dark elves, high elves, or wood elves. So it's like a 3-page kind of chart, but it's kind of fun. And I've virtually incorporated every possibility. So if I did roll for Imperial Guard, I roll for there's like 8 Imperial Guard regiments on the table that I might possibly be able to get. So the idea is that once an army or a faction is determined, I will then have to take a moment to think about a reasonably sized force. Now, if it's something I already have a fairly large commitment of, I'm just going to choose 1 or 2 units to slightly increase or maybe balance out something. If it's an army I have nothing of, it might be a bit larger. But in general, I'm looking to tackle a force that will take me about 1 to 2 months. Now, I paint about 20 to 25 hours a week on average, sometimes more, sometimes less. And so I can actually get quite a bit done in 1 month. And that's the type of speed I'm looking for. I'm not tackling in a huge army in a single month. But I can easily think of maybe 40 to 50 models, maybe. So yeah, it should be kind of an interesting thing. So it depends on what gets rolled. Some armies I might need to buy a few models in order to flush them out. As I said, if I don't have a particular faction, or the one I have is missing a really essential kit, I'm going to do that. But the goal is, if I do buy any of these new models, is that I paint them in a very short window. And wherever possible, I'm going to draw from my absolute hoard of unpainted models. So that's kind of the priority. It was fun to kind of make the tables. I like the randomness. I think that's kind of an interesting way to do it. So it favors Age of Sigmar about half the time, because that's right now. I really love Age of Sigmar, and I really want to get as many armies for that as I can, for battle reports and things like that, to get more and more factions painted so that there's more diversity. But I would say there's absolutely, unless I roll ridiculously, imbalanced, I will be doing some 40k in 2016. I think that's a guarantee. And like I said, I do want to start playing 40k, so that makes sense. So 40k is favored on the charts about a third of the time. Specialist games and terrain are 1/6 of the time. And I'll favor, Blood Bowl comes out this year, I'm buying Blood Bowl. So if I roll for that, I'll probably work on that. Or it would be 50-50. I'll work on some terrain. it's kind of a weird system, but I like the quirkiness of it, and I kind of like it's fun to roll on it to see what you're gonna get. So here's what I've already committed to painting on. From January to March for the budget of Sigmar, I still have some wood elves. This is something I pledged back in, I guess, the beginning of September, or October. I guess yes, October. I guess it would have started. So there's still 3 months of that because it's a half a year pledge. And I didn't get my commitment done for December because I was working on a whole horde of beastmen and I got sick. But I will get those finished in January. So I have 2 months of wood elves pledged for this January. That's actually not that bad because I've been working on them last couple days, and really they're nearing completion. I think by early next week I'll have December's pledge done, and then I'm going to go straight into January's pledge. But I've also mapped out what I want to do for the next 3 months, and so I know exactly what the kits I need to buy and how much I need to paint. And I think I can get that pledge done in probably the first week of every month. At most, maybe like a week and a half. So in addition to the wood elves, I've actually rolled on the charts twice. And I did twice because I want to know in advance. So the wood elves should be finished maybe in another week and a half, and because that's 2 months. And then the rest of January, I'll be working on the first randomly selected army. And I wanted to know what the second was in advance, because if I will need to make purchases on eBay, so I can have a window to look for good deals, or if I need to order something that has time to arrive before I begin it. And so the first thing I rolled for was AOS. Actually, they were both AOS. But the first one was Tomb Kings, which I would not have normally selected that. And to be honest, I'm kind of thrilled. It's an army that really, I really only just picked it up in December for the most part. I talked about that in my last hobby video. And so what I'm going to be working on is I got a chariot. I got the battalion box for my brother, or with a chariot for my brother. So I'll be painting the rest of the battalion box. So it's some skeletal horse archers, some skeletal archers, some skeletal warriors, and I have an old bone giant that I picked up a couple years ago. So I'll be painting him up as part of that. Now, of course, there's no characters in that. So I did order High Queen Kalita, and so she'll be coming. And I love what I like about the Tomb Kings. I already have a huge undead army and vampire counts, but you can do a lot of ranged attack of Tomb Kings that you can't possibly do in vampire counts. So I'm looking forward to kind of exploring that, and the High Queen really helps with that. So that'll be fun. And I do want to participate in Idik Beer's New Year Painting Challenge. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to use the Tomb Kings as my official entry into that. But I'm also going to commit to roll on my random charts 4 times, minimum. I would like to do far more than that. I would like to be somewhere around, 8 or 9 rolls. But I'll be happy if I can get 4 or 5 good factions out in addition to the Wood Elves in 2016. So the second roll on the chart was Empire. And again, I would not have selected this. This is what I kind of like about it. So I've never painted Empire before. But I do have a decent little collection. It's missing a lot of essentials. I would certainly get some great swords and things like that. But I think for the second pledge, I'm just going to focus on the Empire that I already have, get those painted up, get those rebased and done. And then if I roll Empire again in the future, then I'll expand it a bit. But right now, I have like a steam tank, I have a wizard, I actually have like the electric count on Griffin, bunch of handgunners, and spearmen and things like that. So it's kind of an interesting little army. and I could certainly paint it up and make it kind of fun. So I don't know if I'll paint all of that, but I'll certainly paint enough of an army that it's playable in Age of Sigmar. That's kind of the goal. So finally, that's a pretty decent commitment for 2016. I'm really looking forward to the year as a whole. But let me also just point out one thing, and that is that my wife's a gypsy. Now, she's not really, but she loves to travel. She finds it really difficult to stay in one place for too long. And we're at a point in our lives where it just so happens that we can travel fairly easily. I'm in school online for the next year or so, and so it doesn't really matter where I am. We don't have any super attachment to like the area I'm in or friends or anything like that. And she's in an area of employment where she can just find a job pretty much anywhere, and that makes me very jealous. And so last year we traveled all over the United States. We were in North Carolina, North Dakota, and Washington State. And so she really wants to go to Alaska, of all places, and why not? So I think probably by about August we'll be looking in that direction, and well, by September I guess we'll be there, so maybe we'll be looking at it a little bit beforehand. Now, what I want to say in this and why I bring this up is because last year we were moving all around the United States. We packed everything in just our car. There's not a lot of room. We have a roof rack and things like that, but you can't pack a ton of hobby stuff. I had like one case of models, and I didn't get any painting done. And I really want to maintain the momentum that I've already built from 2015. I certainly want to continue making videos. I certainly want to continue painting. And that's kind of difficult to be traveling. But she's already, she's very supportive of my hobby, and she likes to play the game whenever we can. And she recognizes that not having my stuff for like 1 year was like semi-traumatic. So we're going to potentially get like a little U-Haul trailer, and I can fill that with some hobby goodies, and we'll be going to Alaska and probably having some fun out there hiking and trying to stay active. You got to lose that weight for the good old for doom and darkness, if nothing else. And in 2017 we'll be looking for or I'll be looking for a more permanent position, probably in the US, but if there's a position in Canada or Europe, I'll certainly go there. And then wherever I find a job, because my field of study is far more restricted to a degree. Certainly don't have the freedom that she has. I will probably be in a very permanent position, and then we'll be good to go from there out. So a lot going in 2016, obviously a lot of plans. I want to roll on that chart as many times as I possibly can, and I can't wait to get started. I've already started the Wood Elves. I really want to start those Tomb Kings like tomorrow. I'll probably start assembling them at least. And looking forward to even painting Empire and rolling more on that chart. And, Alaska could be fun. So we'll see. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.